So, this one's gonna be about another book summary, because I can actually have a feeling that book summaries are pretty great, and I like them, and I think there's quite a lot in them, quite a lot that I'm not gonna be able to find in, I would say, articles, Theoretically, I would be able to find it, but in such a maybe also density of knowledge and or density of information, I'm not gonna find it. At least I haven't found, and basically I haven't found just a platform or a website where this is actually able, besides the James Clear website, which is really amazing in terms of information, in terms of just everything that I'm also interested in. But yeah, today we're actually gonna go through a little bit of a different book, some sorta. So it's gonna be a different book, but it is gonna be a book that I wouldn't actually read, but more after the intro on why I wouldn't kind of read it, I guess. Which is nothing bad, to be honest, but yeah. It is what it is, I wouldn't just read it. And with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast, and I'm really happy to record this episode. I really am looking forward to recording this, looking forward to just putting out something that I can be proud of, and putting out something that's hopefully also going to help somebody. It is kind of, I don't know, like the feeling if you're able to help somebody is just such an amazing fucking feeling. And it is why I'm doing it. It's a big part of it. It really indeed is. Even though it's kind of just sounding like a little bit cliche maybe, I do just want to help people, I just want to do something for the people and whatnot, especially in my space, especially in the whole MySpace, especially in the whole just self-development space, In that space, it's kind of really common that all those salespeople are just talking about, well, I do just want to talk to you, and this is why I'm selling you my course for 50% off, so that it's gonna only cost $1,000, instead of $2,000. But you get what I'm actually referring to. But as you can see on the left side of the screen right now, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It is actually a fictional book. Still, it is a book with a moral, as I would say. It is a book with meaning behind. And the thing there is, I think it is meant to just have a meaning. I think it's just meant to be some sort of a metaphor. I would actually say, I would actually argue that the whole book is a metaphor for something else. Well, maybe not really, maybe it's just gonna teach you something, and it's just there to teach you something, which is not necessarily something bad, I don't know if it is actually categorized as a self-help book, just officially. Unofficially, I would somehow argue that it might be one. Still, just because of the fact that it is a non-fictional book, I wouldn't read it. Just because I'm having a funny feeling that I'm not gonna learn too much from fictional books, which might be the truth, which might be like bullshit. I don't know. For example, Bill Gates says that he's able to learn way more from fictional books than he's able to learn from non-fictional books. It might also be because of the fact that he has been reading quite a lot of books, also non-fictional ones, and maybe, I don't know, he's still gonna read non-fictional books as well, so he's not really the opposite of me, he's not really only reading fictional books, but he's reading a lot of fiction, which is like totally fine, I guess, if it is working for you, as it is working for him as well. But yeah, let's go through it, It is actually rated 9 out of 10, which is quite good, to be honest, Especially if you consider that this person who has actually written those notes and this quote-unquote book summary, it's not really a book summary, it is some kind of a book summary. If you just imagine how many books this person went through, because it is a fucking lot. It really is, and it then just has to say something, It just says that, at least in my point of view, that it indeed is a great book, if it is rated 9 out of 10. Even though some ratings might be kind of, like, all the ratings are subjective. And I probably shouldn't be just choosing the books based on the rating of this person. Just because it is very subjective, and it's probably, I don't know if it's going to be like really the case, It might be also the case for movies. Like, I don't know, you maybe have also just experienced that when you've been watching a movie and it was rated really, really well, and so you thought, well, it's going to be a really great movie, but in the end, it's not been such a great movie. It's subjective. Get my searchable collection of 200 plus book notes. So he went through over 200 books, and a lot of them are pretty known, as Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, or Just Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and all different kinds of books. Like, there's a lot of known ones and a lot of quote-unquote famous ones as well. High-level thoughts. The wonderful thing about a story like The Alchemist is that it is packed with bits of wisdom you can believe from the story, but also validate through research, which is something that I didn't know. finding meaning in life, spinning bad situations to their positives, learning through action and downsides of fearing failure, perceptions, shaping reality, and appreciating what you have. This is kind of what the book is all about, and it is something that's pretty cool, I would say. Like, I really enjoyed, and it is like, I've always thought like, and I've already went through another summary, and I didn't like the summary, as I'm just remembering right now in the middle of the fucking episode. But I would just say like, still, it sounds great. It really indeed sounds great. And the last time I went through a summary or wanted to go through a summary on this book, it's been like a year ago. It's been in the really early days of the podcast. So therefore, I don't know. Things might have changed for me. Things might have just, or are just different right now. So yeah, the summary notes. He owned a jacket, a book that he could trade for another, and a flock of sheep. Whatever a flock is, I assume it's some kind of, what is it called? Fabric? Kind of somehow, not really, or something you can make a fabric out of. But yeah. But most important, he was able every day to live out his dream. If he were to tire of the Andalusian fields, he could sell his sheep and go to sea. By the time he had enough of the sea, he would already have known other cities, other women, and other chances to be happy. It couldn't have found God in the seminar. I couldn't have found God in the seminary, he thought, as he looked at the sunrise. Which I guess is a pretty cool thing. It is indeed a pretty cool thing if you're able to just kind of structure your life in such a way that there is going to be a lot of upsides for you as well. Not only for other people, but also for you. It is a pretty great thing. And it is also something that I try to do with the podcast, indeed, because like I'm learning every single second of the fucking podcast. And you're learning as well, which is amazing. We're both learning quite a lot of things. And by learning a lot of things, I'm able to give you even more. I've been able to just go through quite a bunch of fucking books and also articles. And now I'm actually having some quote unquote wisdom, I would say, or I would argue. So it's kind of a win-win situation, I assume actually. But yeah, it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting, he thought, as he looked again at the position of the sun and heard his pace. I would say so as well. Everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should lead their lives, but none about his or her own. It is definitely the case, The moment when somebody is doing something or starting something, whether it be a podcast, whether it be just producing a music video, whether it be something like that, everyone all of a sudden has an opinion on this particular piece of art, I would say. A lot of people are going to be like, well, you should be doing your podcast in this way, because it's going to be better if you're doing it in this way. I don't like the music video just because the person there is wearing quite, fucked up clothes and all those things. Like, it is going to happen. If you're doing something and other people know that you're doing something, there's going to be criticism. There's going to be quote unquote feedback. There's going to be just people talking. It is what it is. And I do just like it as well. People like to talk, and people like to talk about their opinion, and people like to talk about what they think of whatever you're doing. It is what they do, Of course, you can just give a fuck about their opinion and give a fuck about whatever they're talking about, which is also something that I'm suggesting, but please listen, because sometimes there is something valuable. Sometimes there is something that you should be taking, Sometimes there is actually advice and or actual feedback and not really criticism that you should be taking and you should just think about as well. Not only just being like, okay, I give a fuck about everyone's opinion, because I wouldn't necessarily say that it is something good. You should always be listening. You should be always listening to whatever the people have to say. There's going to be a lot of crap. There's going to be a lot of bullshit and a lot of things that you do not actually need. But there's hopefully also going to be some things that you're going to contribute off of. But yeah, let's go ahead. Everyone seems... I've already read that. It is what you have always wanted to accomplish. It's what you have always wanted to accomplish. Everyone, when they are young, knows what their personal legend is. It indeed is the case, Maybe if, like, when you were young, you maybe have had also some dreams. I have, for example, had the dream of being a professional soccer player. I don't know if it is just gonna be the case, if I'm gonna be just grown up fully or something, but it might actually be about just being a known person, famous or actually successful football or soccer players actually, they are pretty known, I would say. Maybe I'm also going to be known through the podcast and through whatever I'm doing. But yeah, I would also argue that things shift and things change, but maybe the core of it is going to be the same. This is also the reason why I've just tried to kind of find similarities between being a professional soccer player and just being the person that I'm now willing to be, I would say. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. When he was a child, that man wanted to travel too, but he decided first to buy his bakery and put some money aside. When he's an old man, he's going to spend a month in Africa. He never realized that people are capable at any time in their lives of doing what they dream of. We actually theoretically are able to do so, you know. If it is involving money, of course, you just need to have the money, and I wouldn't actually suggest to just go into debt for whatever. But yeah, he had to choose between something he had become accustomed to and something he wanted to have. I'm like everyone else. I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen and not what actually does. Maybe indeed, yeah. So I'm just thinking about it. If you really think about it, like, I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen. I think it is actually the case, you know, because people are often only seeing the things they want to see, you know. We create our own reality, some sorta. Also through language and also through just us actually, through our subjectivity actually. Because like, we all seeing the world in a different light. We're all seeing different things, you know. Whatever the situation might be, if we are having 10 people, all these 10 people are going to see something different. Therefore, like, yeah, you know, it actually does make sense. Even though it is like, I see the world in terms of what I like to see. It sounds like a little bit easy, you know. It sounds to be quite of an easy way or some sort of a shortcut to get whatever you're willing to get or whatever. This wasn't a strange place. It was a new one. As he mused about these things, he realized that he had to choose between thinking of himself as the poor victim of a thief and as an adventurer in quest of his treasure. Because we can always change how we think about things. We can always change what the reaction is going to be like. You know, if the reaction is going to be being angry or if the reaction is going to be being happy and or just seeing the good and seeing the positive about every single fucking situation days. I'm afraid that if my dream is realized, I'll have no reason to go on living. Which is, by the way, also something that I'm thinking about. If my dream is to be a big creator, being a big person that's helping other people, and when I'm just then there, well, what should I be doing then, you know? I don't know, maybe I just need to have a bigger goal. Maybe I just need to have an even bigger goal of, I would say so, you know? I'm gonna think about that. Because my goal shouldn't actually kind of be like gone, I guess, you know. I kind of have a feeling that it is some sort of about the process, you know, and not really only about just getting to it, but the process of getting to it, you know. Yet the boy felt that there was another way to regard his situation. He was actually 2 hours closer to his treasure. The fact that the 2 hours had stretched into an entire year didn't matter. Well, you know, all of a sudden it's a year or 2 years. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it. How fucked up must it be? The closer one gets to realizing his personal legend, the more the personal legend becomes his true reason for being, thought the boy. Now, I'm beginning what I could have started 10 years ago, but I'm happy at least that I didn't wait 20 years. But I would actually argue that you should just be doing whatever you want to be doing. You know, I want to make videos, and this is the reason why I'm just making videos. And if you want to be a dancer, then just please fucking dance. If you want to be a video creator, if you want to be a filmmaker, then please create and make fucking films. We are having the opportunities right now, and we are having the possibilities right now. And we should take these possibilities, you know. We should be just using them and doing something with them. We have the internet, you know. Our grandparents didn't have the internet. It is a really fucking big advantage that we are having over just previous generations. It really indeed is. Don't say anything, Fatima interrupted. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. That's so fucking right. There's only one way to learn. The alchemist answered, it's through action. Everything you need to know you have learned through your journey, which is something that I'm not quite sure about. You know, I wouldn't say so. I of course think that doing something and just taking the action and whatnot is a really great way to learn, because it really indeed is. For some people, but not for everyone. Some people are really able to learn through books, through reading, through theoretical stuff. They really are able to learn in that way. And if you are such a person that is able to learn in such a way, then please do it. There's no way and no just meaningful reason why you should be just doing it in another way. It's probably also or only gonna be because of some people being like, well, you should be just doing things and you're gonna learn way better by just doing things. which might be the case if you haven't tried it out yet, but it just also doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It could also just be the complete difference actually. But yeah, in the end, you're gonna realize what's working best for you. So it's gonna be a win-win situation anyway, I would say. You don't even have to understand the desert. All you have to do is contemplate a simple grain of sand, and you will see in it all the marvels of creation. Most people see the world as a threatening place, and because they do, the world turns out indeed to be a threatening place. Yeah, indeed. I'm actually thinking about my grandma, because she's always concerned about hurting herself, and just me hurting myself and my brother and cousins and whatnot, that they're hurting themselves by doing whatever. Whether it be about sports, whether it be about just hanging out with people in certain places, or whatever it's going to be about. She's concerned that something is going to happen or something is happening and all those things. Like, it indeed is fucked up. And if you're thinking in such a way, then of course your life is going to be different, compared to thinking about life and the world and whatever in a, again, completely different way. It really does make a difference. It really does create change. If you're thinking about things in a different light, in a different way, in a different strategy, I guess, as well, some sort of. There's only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. That's what alchemists do. They show that when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Which would actually be amazing, but I would actually say so as well. If you're trying to be as good of a person as you actually can be, then of course it's also going to mark the people around you. It's also going to somehow change the people around you. I would say so, It is something that I'm somehow seeing as well, like all the things that I'm talking about, whether it be karma, whether it be about not complaining, it's also it's also gotten some sort of a maybe joke, but even if it is a joke in my school, it just in the circle that I'm in, like my friends and the people that are around me, they know about that, they know about not complaining, they know about just karma and all the other things that I'm talking about. Like, not all of them, but quite a lot of them. And I think it also just changed them a little bit as well by just giving this thing to them, like by giving karma to them, by giving the term karma to them and letting them think about it. I think indeed, like, it must have changed something by changing myself, I guess. So maybe the first step you should be taking is changing yourself. But I'm not quite sure. So this is actually the end of the episode, because it is already the end of this book summary. And I actually have a feeling that, or actually think like that, the book is actually pretty good. And it's not as, I don't know, I maybe have thought about it as like something that's, okay, it's self-help, and this is a story, and you're going to learn so much from the story and whatnot. So like some bullshit, maybe, some sort of, not quite sure. But I would say like some sort of a bullshitty thing. But yeah, let's end the episode there. I do not want to stretch the episode unnecessarily. I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success. And I hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which basically going to mean your legacy, Just being a good person, then also going to be remembered as a good person. In theory, it is working. 3 other questions are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, since a lot of companies started out with solving something that really pissed them off in the first place. But yeah, I'm going to see you the next time. I at least hope. And I wish you the best. So, and also please please consider subscribing to the podcast and also to the YouTube channel. It would really, really, really indeed mean a lot to me. Like, it's quite some work, Even if I love the work, it is quite some work. But I'm going to see you the next time, And I also hope that I've been able to help you. If I've been able to help you, just would actually be really nice if you hit me up in the comments down below and tell me what has been a pretty good advice or a pretty good thing that I've been talking about, or the book, if you actually read the book and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to see you.